Now, before we actually go about solving this problem, we need to represent our constraints and our goal mathematically somehow. We need to have a mathematical representation of what our return on investment for this campaign will be. So just for the sake of explanation, let's just pretend that we only had $400 and we were going to invest $100 each in these channels. Well, that would be simple to compute what our ROI would be, because we know 9% of 100 is 9, 14% of 100 is 14, 10% of 100 is 10, and 5% of 100 is 5. We would simply multiply 0.09 times 100, add that to 0.14 times 100, and add that to 0.1 times 100, and then add that to 0.05 times 100. So we're going to use an Excel formula called sum product that does exactly that. So I've got sum product B2 through B5, comma C2 through C5, and all that is saying is that just adding each one of these up, or excuse me, multiplying B2 times C2, adding that to B3 times C3, etc., and going down. So that's how we mathematically represent our ROI. So just so you can see the formula a little bit better, I will stretch this out. Oh, excuse me, I messed up the formula. Stretch it out this way. Put my cursor here now. And now you should be able to see it. Sum product B2 through B5, comma C2 through C5. Now we need to also represent our constraints mathematically. So let's go over here and look. We've got our budget is $1 million. That should be easy to represent mathematically. We simply type in our budget. Now we've got sum C2 through C5, so we know that our budget is going to be all of these added up. Each one of all these added up together should be $1 million. That's how we want to allocate it. So I've got just the sum of C2 through C5 over here on H3. The boss's orders, in terms of the AdWords being 60% of the budget, I take or the SEO and the AdWords together being 60% of the budget rather, I take C3 plus C4, and that's just SEO and AdWords. So I have those two things represented there. We know that when we add those two up, they should be no more, or they should be at least 60% of the budget rather. The Facebook being no more than 20%, we're going to just represent that in the solver window. You'll see in a bit. TV expensive, minimum of 200 grand. We will represent that in the actual solver window. No fancy, nothing fancy required there. Minimum contract with Facebook firm is 80 grand. We can also represent that, not using anything fancy. No addition or multiplication required. Minimum contract with SEO agency and maximum contract, again, the 60 grand and between 60 grand and 220 grand does not need to be any sort of fancy formula either. Now this one does though. The maximum contract with AdWords should be no more than 3 times the SEO budget. We do need to create a bit of a formula for that, so let's look at what that is. Oh, it's simple. We just make sure that we take C3, which is our SEO, or excuse me, the amount of money that we're going to invest in SEO, and we multiply that by 3, and we'll need that to enter into the solver window. And then we also need to allocate money so that reaches within the market size. So that's going to be another sum product like earlier, where we've got C2 through C5, and if you remember, C2 through C5 simply represents the amount of money we're representing in each channel. And then F22 through F25 on this spreadsheet is our customers per dollar metric. So we want to keep that number less than or equal to the market size, which is 1.3 million. So we'll make sure that that number stays less than this number here, 1.3 million. So that's how we set this up. Those are the formulas we need to use to have before we actually run the algorithm that solves this problem for us.